Are you looking to turn your frown upside down? I know I was this morning. That's why I had Grumpy Coffee. Head to grumpycoffee.com.au. We've got beans, we've got ground beans, we've got pods, we've got it all. grumpycoffee.com.au, the best coffee in all the land.
Just a bloke in a bar.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of Bloke in a Bar, and we've got the interviews running back up again, and I'm stoked because we've got the young fella Lachlan Galvin with us. How you going, brother?
Yeah, going well. How are you?
Mate, very good. We were just talking. You've got aspirations about doing your own potty. Walk us through it.
No, I just think, watching, obviously, using that, I think me and Talon De Silva from the Tigers, we always probably wanted to start a podcast, and, our followings are getting up bigger now. So, yeah, probably by next year, maybe, we do want to start a podcast, but, yeah, we just got to work out the details of it all. But, yeah, we want to get into it sometime. And
what were you thinking in regards to, topics and that? Were you thinking fully footy or just, anything? What were you thinking?
Probably just, general chat, just muck around, talking crap and that, and then also, put the footy in it too. So, yeah, pretty much everything.
Mate, something I would recommend is, first of all, and I'm sure the older boys always tell you this, footy has to always come first. Footy takes care of everything. You play good footy, everything else will come after that. But let's say that is being taken care of and you're fully focusing on that. If you start something small at your age, and just don't expect that much from it, but you just be consistent. Just once a week, you do the potty, you smash it out, and you just get out. Man, by the time you retire, far out, bro. It'll be huge. It'll be huge. But it's just about consistency. Yeah. A lot of people think that good podcasts, the reason why they blow up is because some host is just really good at what they do. But it's actually not. The reason why podcasts usually blow up, in my opinion, is obviously that the hosts have to be entertaining and interesting, but it's just about consistency. People have to know that's going to be out at this time each week. And then if you do it for long enough, it becomes a part of people's rituals, a part of their days. Yeah. That's something with Bloke. The reason why we got ahead initially early is because other podcasts, they would do a podcast on a Tuesday one week, and then the other week would be Thursday, and then the other week would be a Friday. Whereas we were every Monday it's coming out at this time. And so people know. And then put it this way, how many times have you watched either a YouTube video or a podcast or whatever, and you've really enjoyed it, but you don't know when the next one's coming out, so you just forget about it?
100%, nearly all the time.
Happens all the time. Happens all the time. So consistency is the key. But as I said, as long as you're always making sure that footy's first. Yeah. But what is a podcast that any other podcast that you listen to that you love?
Oh, obviously, you boys, I watch yours probably when it comes out on YouTube every week. And then, no, I not really a big listener to really a podcast. No, not really a big listener, but yeah.
More footy in that.
Yeah, more footy. Yeah, more footy talking that, but yeah, always wanted to start
one. What about YouTube? Are you a big YouTube man?
I'm a big YouTube man.
What's the go-to on YouTube?
No, I don't really want to say because my brother watches a lot of Fortnite and that on YouTube. So I'm just sitting there watching that crap. But yeah,
nothing wrong with Fortnite, baby. Hey, you don't realise this. You're talking to a gamer, bro. Yeah. You're talking to a gamer. So I'm all up. I'll play World of Warcraft on the weekend. So there's no shame in Fortnite for me, bros. No shame, mate. I love YouTube. A lot of people have different platforms that they go on, bro. You get me in front of YouTube, I can sit there for so long, just brain dead, just watching everything come by, mate. So you said you like to listen to a lot of footy stuff. Do you really enjoy not studying rugby, but for example, when I was playing league, I actually was the opposite. I would fully disconnect from it and wouldn't even consume any of it. Yeah. Do you watch all the games and look at all the tape and all that kind of stuff?
I watch everything.
So you love it.
I love it. I'm on YouTube. I watch the game, go back, watch the highlights, all the talk shows and that, Matty Johns, 360, I love it. I've just grown up always watching it, so I think why change now? Just keep watching it because I just love talking about rugby league, and yeah, that's my life, to be honest.
Yeah, well, you're a fan of the game before a player almost,
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it's just going to be a matter of let's say, your form drops or something bad happens, that's when you just need to switch that off a little bit. Yeah. Just avoid it, just so they don't, sometimes, me personally, I don't know how you guys, navigate social media, because, I'm a big social media guy, obviously, but, bro, if social media was around when I was around, I would have been rattled. Yeah. I would have been so rattled. As a young fella, do you just kind of see it? Because, I'm sure the older boys probably say to you sometimes, get off your phone, or don't look at this or that. How do you see it as a young fella coming through? Oh,
well, obviously you're going to see it. There's no two ways about it. You're going to see it. If you're on social media, you're going to see probably the good and the bad. Yeah. So there's no like chance that you're not going to see it. But I just think, well, for me, I'm like a pretty relaxed and chill character, so I just try like I see the good things and don't want to get ahead of myself, because you can drop down so fast, and then when you see the bad thing, I always think it's someone's allowed to have an opinion of you, and like that's their opinion, and it's not everyone else's opinion, or it's not going to define you as a person. So I think they're allowed to have their opinion, and when someone else says something good about you, don't really get ahead of yourself. Like just having that balance of it's there and that, but not really getting carried away or taking it to heart as well. Yeah.
And what about for like, there's our audiences, there might be people listening that might be 30 or 34 or around 35 years old or whatever, and they go, I wish these young fellas would just stay off social media. When, as a young fella though, is it explained, I guess, to the older demographic, is it just a part of your life? Like, did you just grow up with it, or was being there, or you know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes it's harder for the older generation to relate. Even
to text or call your mates, it's always on Insta or Snapchat and that. So it's just the way, the way we grew up. Like you want to text your mate, you're on Insta or Snapchat. So I think it was just normal for us. Like I got a phone, downloaded Insta, downloaded Snap, and you just talking crap to your mates or whatever. So I think it's just, it's pretty like, my dad and mum always say, get off your phone. So it's a bit annoying with that, but I think it's just part of our life now.
Yeah, it can be a tool to really help you, but it also can be a negative. But sometimes when I do because obviously I'm older, when I have mates that are like, why don't they just stay off Insta? I'm like, you don't understand. Like, it's a different generation. Like they don't see it the same way we see it. We've got a different view of it because we had a world where it didn't exist. But social media is probably the generational gap, the biggest talking point between the two generations. But mate, how's it been for you? Speaking of social media, obviously you've had a breakout year. What's it feel like as a young fella, like looking back on the year that's been?
No, it's pretty unreal. Like thinking about it now, just like I'm not playing or training anymore, just get to like reflect on the year. It's pretty cool, like and amazing. Like to think I come in to pre-season in November last year, and I wouldn't even have thought I would even have got a taste of NRL, and then to play 21 games and start like round 2 when our first game was. It's pretty surreal, and honestly I can't believe it, but I just got to always thank the Tigers for having faith in me as well. Like they took a risk with me. I'd never versed men before my first NRL game. My last game before I played NRL was under 18 schoolboys over in Papua New Guinea. So it's pretty weird to think of it like that. But I've got to thank them. Yeah, but reflecting on it, it's crazy.
Yeah, I guess you're in the whirlwind right now, but it is when you're a young fella and all you dream of is playing NRL, and you begin to play NRL, you can't believe how good life can be. You're like, I never knew life could be this good, kind of thing. But it is also, as you said earlier, you've got to try to keep that balance. Sometimes it's never as good as you think, but it's also never as bad as you think.
100%.
When everything died down, when all the buzz died down, what was the body feeling like at the end of this year, and also how did you handle the first year mentally, as in fatigue wise?
Oh no, it was all pretty good. I think once it dies down, that's probably a good thing. Not so much pressure or talk about you. But now the body pulled up pretty well. I think obviously you feel it towards the end of the year. You're pretty tired, and all you want to do is have a rest and that. So I'm enjoying my 7 weeks off now. But no, I kind of handled it all right. I think my parents and all the support around me kept me grounded, kept me just keep working hard. I think there's a point there when you do make NRL and you're playing a few games, you kind of want to slacken off. You're like, I'm playing now, so don't worry about it. But now my parents and obviously the coaches and that, they kept me. You got to keep working hard because you're versing the best of the best every week, and you can't slacken off because they'll just make you look stupid. So I've kept it pretty cool.
Yeah, it's and also it's one of those things where you take a little shortcut, you don't get punished for it. You take another little shortcut, you don't get punished for it. It's then accumulation of shortcuts happen, and before you know it, you're so far behind the 8 ball, it's hard to catch back up, especially in the season, and then you got to wait till next pre-season. Yeah. But during this year, take us back. Okay, so you arrive at the club. Was it Benji that signed you, or how did that all happen? Because you're obviously with Para Eels.
Yeah, so when I moved from Para, I moved to, obviously I live in Campbelltown, so Western Suburbs. That's one of the feeder clubs for the Tigers, and so I played Harold Matts there. We had a cracking hot side. We won it undefeated, and then after that year, so I would have been I would have been in year 11 that year, and they signed me, Talon, Jordan, Kit, and Luke. And I think it was that after that year I signed a top 30 deal in year 11. So it was pretty surreal. So like they signed me on a top 30 deal.
Is this the Eels signed you on or
no, Tigers?
Yeah, okay.
So Tigers signed me on a top 30 deal in year 11. And that was Warren McDonald and Tim Sheens. That's when Tim Sheens come back as well.
Yeah.
So they signed me on that. And then going into year 12, I played SG ball for Western Suburbs and played all my school stuff. It was pretty weird, to be honest, like, because after SG ball last year, West Tigers kind of asked, or they wanted me to play flag and probably play a few cup games towards the end of last year. But we told them, me personally, I went up to them and said, I just want to focus on school footy at the moment.
Yeah.
So I didn't play any flag or cup last year. We just said, we want to focus on school and that. So yeah, did that. And then obviously I had the pre-season in November. So I finished school, had a rest in that. And then, started in November with Benji and that, yeah.
Yeah, wow. So I guess we'll eventually get back to growing up, but we'll just go through this season. So you make your debut, I guess. Actually, you know what? We'll go back to the start. Young fella, where'd you grow up? I
was born and bred in Campbelltown.
Yep.
Yeah, lived in Lumi, which is right next to the Campbelltown Stadium for maybe 11 years there. Grew up there my whole life. And then we moved over to Narellan, which is just like 5 minutes from Campbelltown, just a bit out of Campbelltown. Lived around there, had a great childhood. Mum and dad and my two brothers were amazing. I think I've been to every junior rugby league field there is in New South Wales. We used to travel on Saturday and Sunday mornings. Dad would say, all right, we're going to the footy, have a kick, have a goal kick and that. So did all that. It was love life as a young kid.
Just a good upbringing. So did you, from a young age, like let's say 5 or 6, is kind of when a lot of people get into sport. Did you go straight into rugby league or did you just play a bunch of sports?
No, straight into rugby league.
Yeah.
So Dad put me and my older brother, I think it was under 6s. I played up with him for that first year.
Yep.
And we that was for Campbelltown Collegians down in Campbelltown. And Dad put us in that. And then we played a few years there. Well, I don't think we were much good. When you're 6, you're kicking the grass or whatever. Yeah. Played a few years there, and then I made my way over to Eaglevale, and that was probably where I think that was under 9s, 10s, and 11s. That was probably when I probably first thought, rugby league, I'll probably want to do that as a job. That's when you kind of know, you're watching the NRL stars, I want to do that.
Yeah.
So we had a pretty gun team there. We won, I think, 2 out of the 3 grand finals, went through undefeated most years and that. And we did all that. And then I moved over to Camden Rams for 1 year, which is pretty, I don't know, I just left Eaglevale. I was like today, I'll just go play a year of country footy, just see how it is and that. And I enjoyed that a bit. And then...
How far away would have Camden Rams been for you?
Oh, no, that was not too far, for 20, 25 minutes from mine. Yeah, but then, you're obviously travelling down to Mittagong, Barrow and all that. So they're pretty fair trips.
So are they in a different comp? Sorry, I don't understand.
Yeah, so back then they were. So West and Group 6, back when I was, they were in 2 different comps, but now they've merged together. So they're joined now.
And so you just were like, I just want to try country footy.
Yeah. So my brother was out there already playing. The older brother was out there. I was like, I'll go out there for a year, see how it is and that. It's pretty cool. You're playing on country fields, big crowds and all that for everyone out there. So I just went out there for a year. We lost the grand final actually. It was pretty crap.
Who'd you lose to?
Thelmy, Heath Mason, our fullback for Tigers.
Yep.
He was in the Thelmy team. He beat us.
No way. Yeah, Does he still talk about it later up today or what?
I'll start crying. So he says that. But so I went out there for a year, and then when I played for Eaglevale, we used to verse Wenny. He was in the para comp, and then they were a freak of a team. They had so many good players who they had Blaze, Latu, all the boys, a few boys are playing NRL now. So Eddie, the coach, gave my dad a ring and said, if you want it, if you want to come out here, there's always a spot for Lachlan and that. So me and dad, being massive para supporters, were well, there's probably a chance to maybe go through the junior para system and have a shot. So we went out there. I was there for 4 years. I think I didn't lose a game for them for Wenny for 4 years.
Far out.
We had a crack hot team. And then that's when I started filtering through the para system and that. Yeah, so we played, I think it's under 14s, 15s is all the junior stuff there. So I was in that. You play a few games once a year or whatever there. And then I made the Harold Mats for Para, a year younger. And then that's probably when I hadn't had my growth spurt, and I was still playing good footy, but probably not to the level as all the boys around me. So
But you were still playing a year up though, weren't you?
Yeah, so I was playing a year up, but they picked me and said, "Oh, you stay in the system and that." And then by I think the last couple of rounds of that, the coach and the para like junior development people come up and probably said, they come up to me and my dad and said, "Oh, like we like Lachlan and that, but like there's probably other halves in front of him, and he's probably not going to get the same pathway as they are and that." So like they probably said like, "Oh, if you want to go back home, like to Campbelltown and that, you can, like, we'll give you the opportunity to."
Yeah.
So that was probably one of the hardest points in my career, to be honest. Like,
do you remember the feeling of, did they tell you or tell your father and then your father told you? How did that work?
Oh, they told Dad and my manager.
Yeah.
And then, they kind of come up to me and said, "Oh, we're just going to go back to Campbelltown now. Like, Para they're not really interested in."
Do you remember the convo?
Oh, I remember it kind of. I think we were at home and Dad, like, we just sat down and Dad said, "Oh, we'll get ready and we'll go play a year at it in Campbelltown and see what happens in that." But, that hurt me. But that was probably the best thing ever in my career now. I'll put that as down as the best thing ever. I think the setback made me work so hard and want to prove people wrong. It's probably the reason I am here where I am today,
Yeah, okay. So your father sat you down and just said, "Mate, they've gone, go in a different direction. We're going to come back to Campbelltown and play footy."
Yeah.
Did he say to you, "Mate, like, work hard and you can bounce back," or was it more of a natural reaction from you to go, "I'm going to prove them wrong. Like, I don't agree with what they're saying"?
Well, obviously, Dad said, "Mate, like, come on, you just got to go get back to working hard and that, get back to enjoying your footy out here, and anything's possible. You're only 16 or whatever." So but that was probably, I didn't really probably say anything to Dad, but I was going to bed at night thinking stuff there, like,
for sure.
I'm gonna prove you wrong. So that was probably that helped me a lot. I worked my ass off that year, and then our manager and Dad, they had talks and we're like, "Oh, we'll try out for the Harold Mats out at West for 1 year." And it's a funny story. So Para put a $5,000 like claw thing on me, so West had to pay because I was still even
though they said you could
so they still put a $5,000 thing on me. So
that's shit.
So it was weird because West hadn't seen me really play much. So they rang Dad up and said, "Oh, Lachlan has a $5,000 fee on him," where the higher up people at West, they're a bit scared to pay it because we've probably never seen Lachlan playing that. So then Dad turned back to him and was like, "Can I give you one person to ring? And if he says pay it for Lachlan, will you just pay it?"
Yeah.
And they were all right, sweet, we'll do it. And this was Shannon Gallant, who's like runs the pathways now. This was him at the time ringing Dad. And Dad goes, "Oh, can you ring Wayne Lampkin, who was the West Tigers assistant at the time?"
Yep.
So Shannon goes, "All right, I'll ring him and we'll see what he says." So then Shannon rings Wayno, and then they have their talks. And then Shannon, I think, rang Dad back like 10 minutes later and said, we're paying the $5,000 fee. He'll be down at Harold Mats training in November." Wayno, we find out later, Wayno said to Shannon, if you don't sign this kid, you're the stupidest person ever. Pay the $5,000 fee. Because Wayno at the time was my school coach.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he probably always saw something in me in that. So I got to give kudos to him and thank him a lot.
No way, that's crazy. So I mean, I guess props to West for paying that $5,000 fee, having not seen you play and trusting obviously that he'd seen you play and seen you develop. Did that obviously you felt the down of Para saying, "Look, you're probably a bit behind here," and then you feel the high of obviously them going, "Yep, you can come back here." Did that give you even more motivation? Go, "Okay, I'm on here. Like, I've just got to work hard."
Well, 100%. I think when I rocked up to SG ball training, I think I probably run every fitness drill there was. I had that much time off to get fit, so I all I want to do was get in that team and show that I can play the footy. I think I can.
And so was that when you were 15, did you say, or 16?
The Harold Mats would have been, so that I was at Para when I was 16, and then Harold Mats was 17 for the West. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. And so that's when you were in school, and so that would have been your second last year, year 11. That would have been year 11.
Yeah.
And then obviously the next year. So you play year 11, and that would have been for club, correct?
Yeah.
And is that when they said in year 12 we want you to come play for Jersey Flegg?
Yeah.
Yep. And you said, no, I want to focus on school here. Was that decision, I want to focus on school, was that your parents going, look, you need to make sure you take care of school and everything like that? Where did that kind of come from?
No, it was probably me. I probably went up to dad and mum and said, like, I think so the year before when I was in year 11, we lost the schoolboy cup in the semi-finals, like by a field goal.
Okay.
And I thought, well, why not give this a crack? Like everyone, like the school footy is pretty big. I think it's a really good pathway to go through. And we had Luke Vella and Troy Whedon, who were our coaches at the time, and Luke's now assistant NRL coach at the Doggies.
Yeah, okay.
So we had great coaches there, and I just thought, why I don't want to push myself by playing too much footy. Why not just focus on the school footy and obviously get my school work done in that as well. So why not just focus on that? And there's always Aussie schoolboys at the end of the year. So it was kind of my decision, and I probably told mum and dad, just to let Wes know about all that. Yeah.
So was it from a pretty much competitive nature of like, I want to win with my school kind of thing?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Did you end up winning?
We won the national final. So
oh no way!
It was all worth it. It was all worth it in the end. But that was a mad year last year for our school.
What do you think it was that gave you, I guess, because it would be hard knocking back. Was it Jersey Flegg you said? Yeah.
Flegg.
I mean, a lot of kids would have just said immediately, oh Jersey Flegg, holy crap.
100%.
I guess, where did the thought process of going, because a lot of kids would have been worried if I knocked that back, that might piss them off.
Yeah.
Like, what was that feeling like for you?
Oh, it was weird. It was probably a big decision, but Shannon Gallen, who runs all that, we obviously spoke to mum and dad. Obviously spoke to him, and he backed me and mum and dad. He said, if Lachlan wants to do that, that's perfectly fine. I was obviously contracted for that November to go into the NRL preseason. They were obviously a little bit worried because I never versed men before, and Shannon was obviously going to get me up to training with Cup and that, verse get up and verse the men and the 21-year-olds and that. But no, they backed me, and they it's probably a good decision for me in the end. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. It's okay. So let's walk us through that year 12 then.
Yeah.
Year 12. So that season, you said you went undefeated.
Yeah.
But at what point were you feeling like, we can win this thing? We can win this thing.
Oh, I don't know. I think we were such a tight group our year 12. And I think from last year losing, we all told each other at the start of that year, let's fully focus on this. And we made a pact. I think no one played outside club footy. So if they weren't playing flag, like some boys obviously played flag, but if they weren't playing flag, no one was playing club footy. We'll fully focus on that.
Wow.
We're training 4 times a week for school because it's in our at Westfield. It's in your timetable. So you train. So we'll train 4 times a week. That's all we wanted to do. We'll go on and in lunch we're doing videos. We'll everything with our coaches, Vella and Troy. So we loved it.
No, that's crazy, and it's just, what a learning curve for what it takes to almost be a professional athlete. Like, if you want success, you've got to that lunch that you normally want to go around, kick the footy and have a bit of fun, go and watch some video and that extra session. That, geez, it's a really good lesson for the young footy players. That here's evidence of if you sacrifice, there's a reward for it. Well, going into the grand final, because you said you got knocked out in the semi-final the year before, correct? Did you play that same team that knocked you out in the semi-finals the next year?
No, we didn't. We didn't verse them actually, but so there's a state final, and then you have the national final, which you verse the Queensland boys, and so we won the state final, and Palm Beach.
Who was that against, the state one?
Blacktown.
Okay.
So
is there a rivalry?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Massive rivalry there.
Where does that stem from? Just
I don't know. Yeah, just like it's just always been. I think there are a lot of Para boys and all that in the Blacktown team. We're a lot of Tigers boys from Westfield. So it was just a massive rivalry. That was a massive game, and we won that. And then we're versing Palm Beach Currumbin in the national, It was mad because we played at Allianz and that they like, it was a massive like occasion. We all had barbecues and jersey prezos. So it was a real good occasion for us like us boys. And then so we had 2 weeks off. I think that's the hardest I've ever worked, and just we knuckled down so much for that 2 weeks. And when we were versing Palm Beach, and in the end I think we beat them 48-12.
Really?
Final we smashed
so
them.
You clearly had a good group of boys that were fully committed.
Oh yeah, I miss it. I still to this day say I've had 2 massive achievements in my life, and that's one, obviously NRL debut and that, playing NRL, and then the second one was winning that National School World Cup with all those boys.
And the way he's won it as well.
Yeah.
What was it like walking into school the next week?
Oh, yeah. It was the next day we walked into school. I think we all probably carried on a bit. We thought we were the kings of the world. We walked in there. That was mad.
What a win. And so has your school, since you left, how have they gone?
Oh, they did struggle a bit this year.
Yeah.
They struggled a bit. They lost, obviously our coach Luke Vella went full-time, NRL assistant. They did struggle, but now I tell everyone, if it wasn't for that school and Vella and Troy, I wouldn't be in the position I am today. Like, they taught me so much, and just, obviously sacrifice, like, it's just a little thing, sacrificing your lunch to go watch video or something like that. It's little things, but it helps you in the long run. So they're an amazing school, and I think any kid that wants to work on their rugby league and that, Westfields is massive. Man,
it's crazy. I grew up in a school like where I didn't even know that there were schools out there that you could have your sport as a subject. Yeah. I just went up to a normal Catholic school. Yeah. So whenever I hear like rugby league was a subject, I'm like, what?
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's crazy. Where our school, it was just like, you just didn't do that. Didn't do that. Okay, so that grade 12. Now we have a new segment brought to you by Grumpy Coffee. And I've got to ask you, brother, obviously head to grumpycoffee.com.au, guys. Grab the best coffee in all the land. Got everyday blend. We've got the very grumpy blend. But I've got to ask you, mate, what makes you grumpy? And then secondly, what turns your frown upside down?
Thanks for that. What makes me grumpy? You know what makes me grumpy? When I'm starving, hungry, and there's no food in the house. That makes me grumpy.
Oh, that is gold. That is gold. Oh, and you go in the fridge, you check it, there's no food, you walk away. Me. 10 minutes later, you check the fridge again, and it's still not there, and you're like...
And I've got to get in the car, drive up, and that kills me, man. That kills me.
All right, what turns your frown upside down, mate?
What turns my frown upside down? What turns my frown... You know what does? A good pub feed. I love a good...
Snitty?
Snitty. Palmy.
Okay, I'm with you.
I love a good palmy at a pub. Yes, that turns my frown upside
down. Where's your local pub? What's your go-to pub where you're just like, mate, this is the best?
Oh, Appen. So Appen Hotel. They we know the chef out there, Chris.
Yep.
Cracker Schnitzels, cracker pub.
Right. Shout out Appen Hotel.
Yeah, love it, man.
Shout out, mate. All right, so you're in the year 12. But then you're heading into the first grade system, first year out of high school, correct? Yeah. But in that time, in the off season, I don't know if it was the off season, but Sheens gets let go and Benji gets brought in. What was that process like for you? Because as a young fella, you'd be like, okay, well, does Benji rate me? Like, what does he think of me? I know Sheens is the one that signed you. What was it like for you?
It was a bit weird. I think, I didn't really know much about any of the NRL system or anything like that. So it was a bit weird, but I think, like, Benji gave me a call in that and said, it's all fine. Like, don't worry about it. Like, Sheensy, like, I'm like the head coach now. Or like, I back you 100%. I can't wait to see you get into pre-season and that. So it was pretty calm in that. I didn't really think about it.
What was it like getting a call from Benji Marshall?
It's a bit weird, you start fangirling a bit. So it was all pretty calm, like all that sacking and that. So it was all right.
And so you just kind of like, look, I've just got a job to do and just get in there and work as hard as I can?
Yeah, 100%. I think, I just got in there and tried to...
Do you remember your first session where you were like, holy shit, this is intense?
Oh, yeah, I do. So we did the 1.2 and that. But I'm pretty fit, so like I'm all right like with the fitness and that. But it's just like I'm used to doing a fitness block and you're pretty much done for the fitness. Oh. I did a fitness block, then another fitness block, then another fitness block. And I'm like... Come on, mate. You're taking the piss.
Yeah. It is funny. Like as a young fella, when you're coming through school, even when I coming through playing soccer, we didn't do fitness. Fitness for us was just playing soccer.
Yeah.
Because you're already fit. Whereas league's a little bit different. You actually have to do, like, you can play league and actually not get that much fitness if you don't take many runs.
Yeah.
Whereas soccer, you're always running.
Yeah, 100%.
So when I got to league, I was like, I didn't even understand, like, we're just doing fitness today. What do you mean we're just doing fitness today? Like, that's weird. Like, where's the ball? We're here to play sport. But as you just said, like, even then, as a young fella, a fitness block is usually like, all right, we'll do 1.2K. That's fitness for the day. Whereas a preseason, it's like you do 1.2K, you do ball skills, you come back, you do another 1.2K. Well, you're just like, man, I don't know how I'm going to handle this.
Oh yeah, you think like, especially getting up so early and that, you're like, wow, this is reality. This is going to change you. But even like you do all that, you have lunch, you're straight into the wrestle room again.
Yep. Yeah.
It's like, I've got 120 kilo people running at me in the wrestle room.
Yeah.
It kills you. But
how'd you go with the wrestle? Because that's probably usually the hardest thing for a young
yeah,
player.
I probably obviously struggled probably at the start. You know, I wasn't used to tackling like such big bodies and that. But you know, our wrestle coach and Bomber, our defensive coach, they probably kept me behind, kept me doing extras and that. So yeah, I got on top of it, and you know, I still don't like it, but yeah, I got better as the year went on.
Yeah, I mean, anyone that likes wrestling is a psychopath. Let's just put it that way. Wrestling, toughest sport ever. When I see those Olympic wrestlers and that, bro, they're so hectic.
Not for me.
Okay, so you do, but you start the preseason, and then like, I'm not sure if you would have been aware of this, but then like Benji starts dropping your name in like conversations of players that are doing really well, and like, I remember just my own personal experience when that starts happening. You're like, oh, what? Like, I didn't know he actually thought that. I didn't even know he noticed me. Yeah. I'm not sure if it was similar to yourself, but when that started to happen, how did you feel about it? Oh
yeah, it was weird. Like, obviously being on like in the paper or something for the first time, it's like, well, like people actually know me. Like, it's weird. So it's also exciting. 100%. Like, it's obviously mad seeing it for the first time, but you know, I was just minding my own business. I didn't really think Benji was even like talking about me. I just said, oh, I'm training, then I'll come home. I never thought Benji would really like mention my name and that. So yeah, that was a bit weird, but it's also probably motivating as well. It's like, oh, he's mentioning me now. I've got to keep working hard. I've got to stick into it. So probably it did help me probably a bit as well. And so then it starts like, I guess a little bit of noise kind of does developing of like, oh, like you actually may get a crack in the trials, or, you know, you're I wouldn't say ahead of anyone, but your name's being tossed up as you may start the season. And I remember even on the review show, we were like, holy, like the confidence he must have. And I if I'm being honest, I initially thought that he was looking at you going, this young guy's really good, and I'm going to use him to put pressure on some of the other guys we've signed. Yeah. But then it came out that, no, actually, you're looking like you may start. When did you kind of know, like, oh shit, this is a reality, like I could be starting the season? Yeah, it's probably towards the back end of pre-season where Benji kind of was given like a few hints, like, because throughout the year we like, so you had the main team and obviously the cup team that when we do a pose and that, and you know, I would be in it one week, and then Sullivan would be in it one week. Caesar probably stayed in the halfback most of the time, and then Latu would be in it another week. So we all kind of switched. So we all like, what's going? Like we kind of really didn't know like what was going on in that. But then we had an opposed session, because we had to buy the first round like a few weeks before round 2 when we were going to play, and then Benji kind of come up to me and said, oh, you'll be starting in the main team of the opposed. And that's probably when I thought, oh, like I might be a shot here if I keep training well and go pretty well in this opposed. So yeah, that's when I kind of thought, oh, start knuckling down because you might be playing round 2. No way. And so did you get a chance to trial at all? Yeah, I played in the second trial against the Dragons. And you played a bit of lock too, didn't you? In that, second row? Yeah, second row. So I come on, I was 14, I come on, Juzzy got injured. I come on and played centre for like 10 minutes, and then went into the half, and then played back row for the last 15 or something like that. So yeah, I was playing everywhere. Far out. Okay, so that happens, and you hold your own, and it's like, oh, okay, you did quite well. When did you know you were debuting? Do you remember the conversation? Yeah, so we had a training session, and I trained all right, and it was when was it? It would have been a Friday afternoon, so that was the week of the bye, and we were playing the week after. And Benji comes up to me and says, oh, just meet me in my office, like I just want to have a chat and that. Yeah. So I thought we're doing video or something. And so he calls me, and I walk in, I sit down, and he says, I just want to congratulate you. And I said, oh, yeah, thanks. And he said, you'll be starting number 6 and debuting this week. And that's probably the best feeling you can ever feel. Like I felt personally in my life at like up to now, because I just think like just the pressure and the relief, it's just like my dream's coming true.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy, and I just think I thanked him so much. I think I nearly started crying. It was a bit embarrassing. But the hardest bit was, he says, I want to announce it to the boys in the team room on the next Monday or Tuesday.
Oh,
Said,
no
don't tell anyone.
way. The whole weekend.
So he said, tell your parents and that, obviously tell anyone, but like try not to get it out too much.
Yeah.
So he said, yeah, you can't tell any of your mates, don't tell any of the boys. So that was hard, because I was walking around, massive smile on my face. Everyone's saying, why are you so happy? I'm just happy, man. But then, I think...
Can't a brother just be happy?
Yeah.
Come on, man.
And then, I got in the car and rang mum and dad straight away, and I was, bawling my eyes out and telling them. That was the best call I've ever made too.
Yeah. Just that feeling, because you think about it so much. It's all you ever think about, especially before your debut.
Yeah.
I think like once you debut, then the next thought process is like other things that you can do, like staying in the position or improving certain things. Whereas before your debut, like all you're thinking is like, if you could, I just want one game. That's it. If I just get one game, my life is complete.
Yeah.
That's how much it means to you before your debut.
100%, it means so much.
So you make your debut, and you play really well. I guess then the plaudits start coming in. Are you trying to like shield yourself a little bit from that to make sure you're in focused, or are you embracing it? Like, what's that first few games like for you?
Oh, obviously I embrace it. Like as I said, you see it everywhere, so you kind of embrace it. But obviously, like your first couple games, like no one's really doing video on you. You're not really, no one's really like marking you or anything. So I obviously thought, like, don't get ahead of yourself, mate. Like you got to there's still 17 teams out there watching you every week. Like they're going to be on you now. So they kind of start to know your game. So I embraced it, but then kind of shielded it out towards like every weekend when I started playing.
What about, so your actual debut, is there anything specifically you remember, like sitting in the change rooms, out in the field? Like, what do you remember from it? Usually a blur, but
it is. Yeah, it went pretty quick. I think we debuted in Canberra.
Yeah.
So all my mates couldn't come because they had all their SG Ball and Harold Matt's games. So none of my mates were down there. It was just me family, me mum and dad, Nana Pop and that. So we went down the night before. I roomed with John Bateman. Me and Johnny roomed together. So that was pretty cool. We just like chilled in that. He kept me kind of calm. He's played 1,000 games. So he kept me kind of calm. And then, I think it's pretty much blur. I think maybe, and even the best feeling is when that full-time siren goes and I've played, like I can walk over to mum and dad now. Like it's just that's a massive relief as well. So it's just like you walk over to mum and dad, give them a hug. But it goes so quick, man. Like,
is there anything you remember on the field? Like, for example, when I made my debut, I remember my first tackle going, oh shit, like, it's not as hectic as I thought it was going to be. The contact wasn't going to be as like dramatic. They're not as strong. I thought they were going to be superhuman kind of thing.
That's exactly what I thought. Exactly. Like, obviously, you're versing players that you looked up to, you watched on TV and that you think, oh shit, like, oh no. But like I didn't, like, there's obviously a difference in that. But you think, oh, like, well, I can maybe handle this. Like, I might, so I'm ready for this. So I kind of thought the same thing.
Yeah, it's man, it genuinely, you build it up so much in your head.
Yeah. That
when that first tackle happens, you're like, oh, they're just normal people too.
Yeah, 100%.
If anything, it's just like faster.
Yeah.
It's just faster. In your game, did you have a try assist in your game? Or 2 try assists? I think you had something, surely.
Yeah, I threw an inside ball to Buller and he went through and then found Samuela.
What's that feeling like? Just going, oh my God, that just happened in NRL.
Yeah, that was mad. That was our first try too. So no, that was a mad feeling. But I think we lost that game, but no, I went pretty well. I think I made like a 40, 50 meter break too.
Then you obviously you keep your spot, but in your victory over Para, you get sent to the sin bin, placed on report for hip drop. Yep. I guess, had you ever been sin bin before or anything like that? Or
I've been sin bin before, but I don't know. It's just that I didn't even know I did the hip drop.
Yeah.
Like, I had no clue. That was like in front of 40,000. It was Easter Monday. That was a weird experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, because like the thing, when you watch a replay in slow-mo, it looks like the player knows what's happening, but in the tackle, you're not even thinking. You're just kind of reacting.
Yeah.
Like, I can't tell you, sometimes I'll watch games back and I won't even remember making that tackle.
Yeah,
like, that's how much it's a blur.
Yeah.
And so, okay, so you did the hip drop, and was it until you looked up in the big screen where you're like, oh shit, like I've actually landed on his legs here?
Yeah, because they did a captain's challenge. It was like for the 5 seconds after or whatever, 10 seconds after, and then I look up and then I hear you hear the video ref over the big screen. He says, "Oh, we can see like Lachlan Galvin's done perform the hip drop tackle," and I was like, well, this isn't going to be good. So, and I think that's when they were like going pretty hard on the hip drops and that around that time. So, yeah, then the ref called me out, sent me to the bin.
Oh man. Okay, so you're walking off. Then the 2 game suspension. Like, how'd you feel about that? Were you surprised? Were you shocked? What was going on there?
I was a bit upset, to be honest, because I think I probably played pretty well like those first 3 games, but it was probably the best thing that Benji gave me a call. He said, mate, there's no, like, you're going to be the number 6 when you get back. Don't worry about your position getting taken.
Yeah, that's good. Because that's the first thing you think of.
100%. That's the first thing. I was like, oh, I've lost my position now. Like, there's other boys, they come in and have blinders and that. So, I kind of, he kind of settled the nerves a bit more on that. So, that was probably, that helped me a bit. But then, I think they versus the Dolphins. They took me up to Queensland with them. I sat in the box for that game. That was an experience and a half. And then, we versed the...
Now you know what the coach is saying when you drop the ball.
I don't want to drop the ball again. But then, we versed the Dragons, and then I come back the week after. But, Benji kind of settled the nerves, like, thinking I was going to lose my spot and that. So, he helped me then.
That's really good from Benji to hear that he's, like, front foot like that, because not a lot of coaches, but some coaches wouldn't have said anything. Yeah. And as a young fella, you're just wigging out. You're going, oh my God, like, I've lost my spot. Like, I worked my whole life to get here. Now someone's going to play good and I'm gone. Yeah. And to ease your mind like that just takes stress off your shoulders, and you can focus on things that you need to focus on in training to get back at good nick. Yeah. Okay, so what's it like? Obviously it's an incredible debut, but you've gone from a side that went undefeated the year before and winning and national champs to not winning most games with the Tigers. Like, I guess, what's that feeling like, dealing with you having a great year individually, but at the same time your team's not winning and you're in the halves? So it's like a bit of a weird kind of contradicting. Like, you don't want to be too happy for yourself because your team's losing. You'd almost rather play poorly and your team win. You know what I'm saying? What was it like handling that balance? Yeah,
it did at the start. I wasn't used to it. I think it did affect me a bit. I think, growing up, I wouldn't have lost many games. So it's kind of weird. You're walking into the sheds after every game. You're like, what are we doing wrong? What's happened? But towards the mid end and then the end of the year, I think Benji kind of knew, like, obviously I was still playing good, but I want to win. Like, I love winning. And then he kind of had a chat to me and said, like, we're probably not going to make the 8. Like, this is when we kind of knew we weren't going to make the 8. He said, the best thing for you right now as a young kid is to not worry about the result. Don't worry about the scoreboard. You go out and play your best footy, and we'll probably get wins off the back of that anyway. You can't really worry about how the team's going in your first year and that. We know we're obviously struggling and we're here for the rebuild, and you're probably part of that. So you can't really worry about the results in that. And I think that towards the back end of that year, there's probably in the middle of the year, I probably had a flat spot, worrying about losing and that. But I think towards the back end of the year when I started thinking, well, I'll just go out and like worry about my own game. Don't worry about the result too much. And that's probably when I start playing my best footy towards the back end of the year. So he helped me a lot with that, just going out there and enjoying it. Like towards when we were losing, you lose enjoyment for it because you're like, fuck, like obviously winning's so much fun. That's what you're there to do. Yeah. So towards the back end of the year, I was really enjoying it, even though we weren't getting the results. I think my game was improving every week, and that helped me a lot. Yeah,
it's great from Benji to do that because it's true. Like it's not a rookie's job to worry about that at this stage of his career. It's the administrations, it's the head coaches, it's the senior players. Yeah, it's so great to hear from Benji. Like, because I do think that's really great advice. Okay, so it would have been like 3/4 way through the year the drama hits, and this would have been your first, I guess, first experience of like negative headlines, and not even just that, like probably seeing comments that like are so far from the truth of what's actually happening that you're going, bro, that's not even true. Like, how did that even come out? Like, that's not what happened. I guess, can you walk us through what happened? And for people listening that may have forgotten, there was talks about, wanting to rest, and then talks about, wanting to leave. What actually happened during this period for you?
Yeah, so obviously that was during the point where the losing was probably getting to me a lot. There was a hard time at the Tigers, obviously during that middle year when I think we lost 11 in a row, and it was me, my manager, mum and dad. We all kind of had a chat, and we wanted to see where the club was going. Like I didn't want to be the person stuck in this club when we're losing and my form's going to start dipping and I'm not going to learn anything or get better. So we had a chat, all of us, and thought like we want to go to the club and like see what's going on. And yes, like it was true. Like we put in a release and that, like that was all true and that. But West spoke to us and they were like, they obviously had a good chat with us. Richo, Matty Betts and Benji, they all chatted to my manager, mum and dad and me, and they put out the plan for all of us and put out the plan for obviously me. And we've agreed to all that. And by the end of it, I personally told Benji, and then obviously my manager told the club and that we want to stay and we're here for the long run, and I want to build this club. And I think that's probably the thing that probably turned me around. I heard Andrew Johns on Channel 9 come out and say, imagine like my legacy if I was one of the boys to start when the club was going bad and come in and win a comp with the Tigers. And that was, I kind of thought that and think, oh, like I could be massive around this area. So
no, incredible. Incredible.
So I kind of like that was obviously in the conversation as well. And like obviously we spoke to the club and that, and then I told him, I want to try turn this club around. Yeah.
And so do you think it was, because like you can see both sides. You can see the Tiger side going like they gave you an opportunity and they 100%. Debuted you. And they're like, yeah, we're struggling right now, but we gave you an opportunity, so can we get some payback? And then obviously you can see your side. You're a young player that cares about their development, that wants to be the best version of themselves. Do you think it was just more a fact of just a lack of communication, maybe, like initially before, and then once you did communicate, you both kind of saw where both parties were coming from, and that's kind of what bridged the gap a little bit?
Yeah, 100%. And I think it was probably on me as well, I think the losing got to me, man. I just like it, just being so young and not being used to all that, and then like the media and all that type of stuff. So it probably got to me, and then I was ringing up my manager and mum and dad, and it did get to me. But no, I think once we did communicate, once we came, West started speaking to us and we started speaking to them. We seen the plan and they've told us all that, and we were happy with that, and so it's all good now.
Mate, I think it's really good that you take responsibility for it. You could easily sit over and go, oh, well, this is why I did it, and blame other people. But it's good that you've gone, what, it was me. I was losing, I was struggling, but then once you communicate. So I think that's good, mate, that you've done that. And I think Tigers fans will understand that too. They'll respect that you're open and honest. And I think that I think Andrew Johns is right, especially like, so you're 19 years old and you've got till 2027, is it?
26.
26. So 2 more years. Like Luai will come in next year, and then you can get a really good gauge of like where are we headed over the next 2 years. 100%. And Joey's right. Like, could you imagine? Like, it's one thing leading a club that's already stacked.
Yeah.
It's another thing. Could you imagine if Luai comes in, Appy's there now, you're there, Buller's got another year under his belt? Like, it could be something special. Hopefully, anyway.
Yeah.
But that's as I said, it's really cool to hear just an honestly what happened, bro. It's really good, nice to hear that. So that happens. You have that conversation with Benji. Did Benji kind of like, because he was part of them winning a premiership?
Yeah. Did
he speak to you about that and his journey in regards to that? Because he was a big part of their premiership.
Yeah, he did. I think his advice was obviously good too. He was saying, it was a bit different because he come into the Tigers when they were going good. I think he came in 03 and 04, and then his second or third year he won a comp. So he probably put it in that perspective where you're going through the hard times now, and he went through such good times when he was a young kid and thought it was so easy that the next 3-4 years after he won the comp, he said he did struggle and he probably wasn't playing his best footy because he probably didn't put the work in, and it was coming easy to him for the first 3 years. So that kind of like got me thinking, well, I put just all my work in now. It is going to be hard. We are going to struggle as a team, but if we can get over that barrier and start winning games, and with the West Tigers supporter base and that, like it could be real massive in a couple of years. So that's what he helped me with that as well.
Yeah, it's awesome to hear it. And also, like, the thing is that if you work really hard now, and whether it works out or it doesn't work out, imagine whether it's with the Tigers or whatever, when it does work out. Like if you can be the best version of yourself when things aren't going well, imagine how good you're going to be when things are going well. You know, so that's another exciting thing to kind of look forward to. Okay, so the rest of the year happened. So your hand's all good. That did you have like a broken hand or something?
Yeah,
like
I fractured my hand. Back in the back end of the year, we were needling in that, so I was all sweet with that. Like the club knew, they told me that what's going to happen in that, so that was all sweet.
All good. So that's all sweet now.
Yeah, all sweet, done.
How is the body? No surgeries, nothing?
No surgeries. I'm pretty fortunate. It's all right. So yeah.
Mate, that's a win. If you can get through a year without a surgery in league, it's bloody. You wouldn't have had any surgeries yet, would you?
No, I did my. I think when was it, year 10 or something? I did my PCL and MCL.
And so that's what, 6 to 8 weeks, is it?
Oh, I think because I did my PCL like grade 3, like the worst you could do. I was in a brace for like probably 2-3 months. So I missed it. Yeah, a fair bit of.
What was that like as a young fella dealing with your first like longish term injury?
Well, that was hard. Yeah, that was hard. I think the hardest thing for me is you rock up to a game and you see all the boys getting ready, laughing, going out there to play, and I'm just sitting there in a stupid brace. So that hurt, but obviously. Every setback, you just got to keep working hard, and if you keep working hard, I say good luck will come to you. So
absolutely. Luai's coming next year. How excited does that make you?
Oh, I'm so excited. I think not even just for me, just for the club and the culture and everything. I think he's a winner, and he knows how to win. He's been this is his 5th grand final now, so I think he's going to be so good for this club, and even for me, like just how much I'm going to learn off him, like what he's learned at Penrith and how he's went with Nathan out and with Nathan in the team. Like he can be a genuine halfback in the NRL and probably one of the best. So I'm really excited to.
Oh man, I can't wait. Appy as well. Him and Appy connecting again, which will be sick. It's exciting. It's going to be interesting to see, like even the style that he brings and also the training and all the little things off the field. I can't wait to see him inside the West Tigers because like he's in his prime right now. You're getting him genuinely at his best. Mate, I need to know who's the biggest pest in the squad.
Biggest pest? There's a few actually. Biggest pest.
Are you too scared to say Appy? Because I'm hearing Appy can be pest.
Oh yeah, Appy's.
Or is he chilled out? He might have chilled out.
No, he's all right. Appy's all right. He's a pest. Latu
Fainu.
He's a pest. He's not even a pest. He just comes up to you and starts punching you, laying stuff into you. Like, mate, I'm just trying to relax here. So he's a pest, that bastard.
What was it like playing with Samuela Fainu? Beast.
Oh, I love him. I think I missed because I moved to the right to the back like the last couple of 3-4 games, so I missed him. But he's a freak of a player.
He's a gun, man.
I just think I don't know. We just got each other like on down that left side. We just without taking short sides and that. He's so good to pass to when he's hitting holes and that. Yeah, he's going to be he'll play Origin in the next couple of years. That's how good he is. He's so a freak.
Good. I loved watching him play this year. Loved it. And we can talk about it now, but you've made the Prime Ministers.
Yeah.
How'd you find out about that?
So they contacted the club, I think mid last week, and Billy Callaway, our football manager around there, he gave me a call and said, it's official, like you've made the Prime Ministers. Brad Filler's picture in the team, and I think that was an amazing feeling, like putting on the green and gold jersey. I did it last year for schoolboys in Papua New Guinea, and I'm going back again this year, 1 year after. So, yeah, it's pretty surreal, man.
So good. Freddie Fittler.
Yeah. No, we had our medical on Wednesday and met all the boys, met Freddie and that. So, we got a very good squad, and I can't wait. I think it's going to be a massive game over there. They're crazy over there. They love their rugby league, so it should be real cool, and go over there and make some memories.
And what a bloke to learn off, one of the best sixers of all time.
Yeah,
like just pick his brains, man.
100%. He'll be amazing. We only got I think 2 sessions over there, but when he's talking, I'll be listening.
100%. All right, mate. I ask all the boys this. Favorite rapper of all time.
Favorite rapper. Oh, well, none of the boys from West Tigers. They all think they can sing and rap. None of them. Favorite rapper. Eminem?
Yeah, that's the most common answer. I like Eminem. Look, I'm just stoked that the next generation still like Eminem. As an old man, I'm stoked that the next generation. Favorite movie of all time?
We like a series?
Yeah.
Prison Break.
Prison Break. Okay. Didn't it fall off a bit towards the end, or am I just
Yeah, it
remembering
did a little
correctly?
bit, but I've rewatched it like 3 times now. I love it.
Didn't he have like, spoiler alert for anyone? Doesn't he have like the way out tattooed on his body or some shit?
Michael Schofield. He has it all over his body. He got his brother out 3 times out of 3 different jails.
Oh, that's great. That is great. Mate, I can't wait to watch you play next year. And I really do hope the Tigers do turn it around, mate, because as you said, it'll be Titanic. It'd be incredible if you can turn it around. And thanks for coming on, brother.
No, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Boom.